Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. All right, and welcome to another great episode of Framing New Heights. My name is Michael Hicks. I am your host today. And first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us today on this fantastic empowerment journey, growth mindset, transformation, just becoming the best version of yourself. Please do yourself a favor and do us a favor, is if you could hit that like button, put a comment, a review, and a 5-star review would be great. Send it to 5 of your friends, and maybe bookmark a special moment in the podcast today that you really enjoyed, and send it on to so many friends. But today, I want to talk about the importance of good morning wishes. So 2 simple words that can change your day or someone else's day. So let's get in a little bit today. So I recently did a post on my socials, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And the question that I asked is I need your opinion. Why is it so hard for people to say good morning, especially maybe even on Monday, right? And obviously I'm recording this podcast on a Monday, but it doesn't drop on Mondays. And so some of the responses that I got were quite interesting. And I want to give a shout out to Robert Halliburton. He said, "It's a huge pet peeve of mine, too. If someone starts my morning with an immediate question, I make it a point to respond with good morning prior to responding. Emoji, winky face. People have lost the value of prioritizing courtesy and respect over time." He goes on to say, "We rush everything and don't take time to enjoy everything that life has to offer, like showing love and kindness to others." Well said, Robert, and I'll get into that today. Very well said. Another response by Chris Ware says, "Because people are into themselves and their phones." Uh-oh. People don't look up to enjoy the world around them. Working in the industry I see this all day long. A lot of people don't even have the courtesy to stop a phone call or text message when talking with certain people. What would be best is to put your phone down, lose the technology altogether, he goes on and says. It's not making us better people. We are more disconnected, more depressed from having so much technology at our fingertips. We were more social before social media. It's an interesting comment. Thanks, Chris, for sharing. And another great friend of mine and also a former basketball assistant of me for many years, he said, this is a tough question because there are many reasons for it. Working as a high school teacher, you can go with face in the phone. But you also have the fact that they are exhausted because they work late night hours before, and they get a head nod or nothing because they are just beginning to function enough to make it to the next period. Oh, he's talking about students here, it sounds like. So they're constantly just exhausted, tired, it sounds like. Others have so much stuff going on. They bottle up their focus on keeping it together so no one knows what's going on. For instance, there's a student that their mom is having a major surgery, and they've been really withdrawn because they are worried about their mom. I get it. Makes sense. Not much interaction there. Some have earbuds in, so they really can't hear the craziness. That's what's going on, so they kind of hide it. He goes on to say that he likes to say good morning to everybody when he sees them at the school to acknowledge them. But what he's noticed is, he goes on to say, I see them but have had all of these things either seen or told to me by them later in the day when I see them as reasons they didn't respond, or they ask if I said good morning earlier. So it sounds like mostly from that response, Eric, is that people hear you, but they're not ready to respond. And thank you all for posting those and taking time out of your day today. And I want to go on and talk about the importance of good morning wishes. And I think every morning, you guys, we should strive to become better. And it begins by morning affirmations and then working out. And as I start my day, I start it with discipline. And as I'm going to the gym every morning, my intention is, after I do my own intentions and my affirmations, but my obligation to set the tone for everybody else is to begin the day by saying good morning to as many people as I can interact with. And generally, what I've learned is that some people, as stated in earlier responses by the posts that I made on my social media, ignore you. While others say morning and not good morning. But there are some people that will respond and say good morning. So if the response back that they gave you is just morning, I usually, being the person that I am, I usually respond by saying, no, it's a great morning. And then they maybe chuckle and I got them to smile that day, which is my number one job. My number one job in this society is to make other people better, happier, because literally there's so much negative. So, and then if they engage, I'll respond and say, well, it's another damn day that I am blessed to be on this planet. And guess what? I get to make an impact on other people's life. That's truly what I firmly believe, and I live that to my fullest. So let's go ahead and break down a little bit about the word morning. So the word morning means the early part of the day that comes from the night, obviously, but it's a new day. It begins with the first light that pierces the horizon, bringing in with what I call new hopes, new aspirations, new dreams, new challenges. And then as the sun rises, so does the spirit of humanity, you guys. And one of the most heartwarming ways to embrace the new dawn is through the simple act of wishing someone a good morning. Or often I may go over the top with great morning for those that are very close to me. And some people may have thought that was a little bit over too much, but that's just me being me. However, these two words seemingly mundane, right? But carry with them an immense weight of emotion, warmth, love, for humanity in a gracious positivity beacon of light. So, in today's podcast, I really want to dive deeply into the importance of good morning, especially those good morning wishes and why they can be an essential part of our personal lives as well as others. So, I came up with 7 reasons why we should say good morning to one another and how it creates more, get ready for this, more vitality in your life. Are you for real, Michael? Yep. And I'm going to provide some information, statistical information and research on that actual moment. So here's number 1 on why you should say good morning to one another to build more vitality in your life. Become the beacon of positivity. You know, I was just in church, this was maybe a few weekends ago, and the pastor talked about the importance of being or becoming a beacon of light. And in that instance, I immediately alluded to how often I get the opportunity to say good morning to people as I encounter them in the AM hours. So starting the day in a positive note is truly imperative. It really truly sets the tone for the rest of the day and prepares the mind to tackle any challenges you have ever overcome with optimistic positivity that provides the greatest outlook. A good morning wish serves as a gentle reminder that despite the hurdles of yesterday, today offers a fresh start. I remember often in the education system is maybe that student that you had the interaction with the day before was really bad, was just an ugly, ugly day in every aspect. Maybe been cussed out, had a chair thrown at you, whatever it might have been. I always looked at the next day as this is a new opportunity, a new challenge. How am I going to be better for that particular person? And what was important is I always shared that moment too, is that I don't care what happened yesterday. What I care about is what's going on right now and how you are going to become the best version of yourself. So, again, I alluded to this earlier. I like to say today is a great day to have a great day. The sun is out. In fact, this morning we woke up. Daughter was going to school, and Dad, I don't want to go to school. I said, it's a great day. The sun is out. It's going to be a beautiful, warm week. I go, you have so much fun things coming up. Let's go. Positivity, y'all. Be the beacon of positivity in your life, in your circle, because what that will do is it will promote a more optimistic, positive outlook. Number 2, let's talk a little bit about strengthening of bonds. And let me explain a little bit more what I mean about strengthening of bonds. So when you wish someone a good morning, it isn't just a mere greeting. It's an expression of acknowledgement and concern. It says, here's what it truly says, you guys. I'm thinking about you. I truly care about your day. I see you as a beautiful human and not an object. How many are like, man, Michael, you're preaching. That person cut me off. Is that person an object or is that person a human? Is that person maybe didn't see you? That person maybe is having a bad day under a lot of pressure and they got to get to wherever they're going? The key piece, you guys, is now. What this will do over time is build a nurturing, solidifying relationship. And even if it's a stranger, maybe that's the only good beacon, going back to number 1, beacon of light that you gave them that day. Maybe you talked them off the ledge. But not only that, not only does it strengthen bonds and solidify relationships, but it also, you guys, it offers a better family dynamic. You know, as I wake up my daughter in the morning, I sing this little song. It's, good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, dear Nola. Good morning to you. I literally just made it up. And I've done that since she's been a baby. And what I find so amazing about it, and when you sing, there's research out there that it just brings in a quality of oxytocin, endorphins. It allows you to feel better about what's going around you. And not only does it build a better family dynamic, but even if maybe you're in a relationship and you're like the mother or the father, whatever it might be, or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it might be, but it's very romantic. It can be very much a strengthening piece that kind of just bonds the relationship together. Or it can just be a platonic thing, like just seeing someone and saying good morning. I know often when we were kids, we were like, stranger danger. You guys remember that? Like, don't talk to strangers. As an adult, talk to as many people as you can. You never know who you're going to meet. You can meet your next best friend. You can meet your next best boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, significant other, whatever it is. But strengthening bonds by saying good morning is critical, you guys. The third one on why you should say good morning and how it creates vitality in your life. And I love this one, you guys. I love this one so much because this is me to 101. It boosts mood and morale. So in my own research, I don't think there's anything better than receiving a good morning message. All right? And here's why. It can instantly change and uplift someone's spirits. It can change their course of day. It might have been really bad. Maybe coffee spilled on them on the way in. Whatever it is, But it's almost like the rainy, cloudy day, and all of a sudden someone gives you an umbrella, right? Or it's even like an unexpected ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. You're like, wow, yes, there it is. And then you see a rainbow. How much does that elevate your mood? How much does that elevate your morale or increase your productivity for that day? And instill a sense of purpose for all your daily activities. So, it boosts mood and morale. Number 4, fosters gratitude. Oh, gratitude's a big piece. So let me break it down with fostering gratitude. A beautiful good morning greeting reminds both the sender and the receiver to truly be thankful for each new day. What a blessing, you guys. If we're lucky, we get to live to be average, which is 78 years. 78 Christmases. 78 birthdays. Time is fleeting. And each opportunity that you get to have a new day, you should be so grateful for. And a daily dose of gratitude has been proven to improve mental well-being, you guys, make people happier. It makes people more content. And what's even better with gratitude, there's that resilient word. We are able to be more resilient in the face of adversity. By a simple good morning? Yes, because what it does is gratitude unshackles us from toxic emotions. Positive emotional words, and I use quote, we words, actually lower the proportion of negative emotional words. So, go and build someone up today. My purpose on life, my dharma on life, I did an entire podcast on this, is to build people up, to fill their cups, and to build someone up today so that they can live a happier, more content life. And you guys, when you give, and this isn't the whole reason why you say good morning or great morning or the nod or the smile. But what it is when you give all these things, the universe and our creator finds a way to bring it back to us times 100. And I'll just give you a quick example. So today I went to my favorite protein shake, which is Elite Nutrition, and John was the owner was just on our podcast. And there's another awesome individual in there by the name of Nelson, which I talked about on the last podcast. But got my protein shake, had a great conversation with him, and then I went to Sendex, which is right next door, got my groceries, came back. There was another protein shake on my car. That's the stuff I'm talking about. That's gratitude. That fosters gratitude. When you give back to the universe gives back to you. And so be really mindful of that good morning gesture. Number 5, encourages mindfulness. Yes, good mornings encourage mindfulness. Let me break it down. Here we go. Our lives are constantly so fast, as many of the comments were made about good mornings and why people don't say good mornings, because their life's going on so fast, right? We're on like this endless merry-go-round, right? This endless merry-go-round of a theme park called life. And in the hustle and bustle of modern day life, it's so easy to lose yourself or oneself in the swarm of responsibilities. Oh my gosh, distractions. And especially with those gadgets we call cell phones. Because where's our head? How you seen anything? You could miss the most important, beautiful thing you ever see in your life, but you're buried in your head, and your head's in the cell phone, in which it causes us to constantly look down instead of having your chin up. I could really use a metaphor there. Like, we can really kind of hone in on that aspect. Chin up when things are bad. Chest out. Confidence. Walking with confidence. Chin up, chest out. You know, and what a good morning does, it's a wish that acts as like a momentary pause, thus making us conscious of the present moment and grounding us for maybe a sliver of time and allowing us to become present in that particular moment. That is why saying good morning is so important and encourages the mindfulness theory. And number 6, universal gesture. What's so unique about good mornings or the nods or the smiles, all those things, is the beauty of a good morning wish lies in its totality. And here's what I mean. Regardless of language, regardless of culture, geography, it doesn't matter where you live, the sentiment remains unchanged through mankind or through humankind. What's so unique, it's a globally understood and appreciated gesture that promotes unity and, most importantly, goodwill. So, saying good morning, giving them the nod, smiling, is the universal language for all humankind. And the last one before I want to wrap everything together here is, I just titled it Simple and Effective. Because we live in a world that's so dominated by complex technologies, digital communications. In fact, I'm constantly learning new things to build my business and my programs. And the simplicity of just a good morning wish in itself is just strength. It's really that simple. Whether it's delivered in person, over a call, through a handwritten note, or via text message, its true effectiveness remains undiminished. So simple and effective ways to say good morning. If you don't want to say something, send some to good morning texts. Good morning, thinking about you. Have a great day. How long did that take you to do? Now, let me wrap up the importance of good morning to someone, okay? And what's so important about wrapping all of this up and the importance of good morning to someone is, do you remember growing up where we often were told, like, don't talk to strangers, strangers danger? Well, what I'm saying, y'all, you ready for this? I think it's a hoax. Now, granted, if you're like a little kid, tiny, but I think we also then going to start talking to our kids later on in life when they become teenagers. That's okay. Maybe if they're the little ones, like I said. However, it's not so much now when we're adults, when we want to thrive. Currently, in today's advancement in technology and big changes in social norms, especially since COVID, we continue to reshape our interactions. Remember when we didn't even want to be close to someone? Remember when we had to stand in space like 6 feet apart? You guys remember this? I remember going to vote and there was like 6 feet apart. We're social creatures. We need human connection because it remains paramount, you guys. We are just creatures of interaction. In fact, research shows that social connectiveness can lead to, get ready, longer life. COVID. Couldn't see our parents. Why do you think they were dying? Yeah, maybe it was part of COVID. But we need social connectedness, you guys, to live a longer life, more fulfilled, better health, improved well-being. Look it up. Statistical proven information. Social connectedness is the degree to which people have and perceive a desired number, quality, and diversity of relationships that create a sense of belonging. And what a beautiful thing it is when we are cared for, right? Isn't it amazing how it feels? You feel valued, you feel supported. And we feel better about our life and existence. So, you guys that are listening out there, live life longer by saying a good morning wish. Maybe it's to a coworker. Maybe it's to a stranger. And I guarantee you'll see the simplicity of genuineness that comes along with human connection. So as we navigate our lives, often overlooking the small moments, let's just remember that those small, simple good morning habits can make all the difference in the world for someone's day. So I challenge all of our listeners that are on this podcast out there, for the next full week, I challenge you to say good morning and write down what it's done and see what changes it's made. Because as the sun rises tomorrow, it might be cloudy, but the sun still rises. Take a moment to wish someone a good day and watch the world brighten just a little bit more. So be that beacon of light that I talked about earlier. I want to turn the tides a little bit here and kind of, well, what if they don't say good morning? What's the reason behind all this? I'm going to give you some thoughts on my thinking on why people don't respond back to your good morning. So turning the tides a bit to do what you do when someone does not respond to your good morning. What do you do when that situation happens? What do you do? Oh, I get so angry when someone says something. Are you doing the right thing then? And I know it can surely be frustrating and sometimes even bothersome. So it can feel like our effort to be friendly is being disregarded, right? How many are like, yep, you're right, Michael, I totally feel that. It's important to remember that responding to a good morning doesn't necessarily mean one has to repeat the phrase verbatim, but a simple acknowledgement is a basic human interaction. So you won, all right? Sometimes you get a nod. Sometimes you get a morning. Sometimes you said a good morning, and how are you? And then it builds a whole conversation. You're looking for basic human interaction. And that isn't only courteous, but also helps build social relationships, you guys. So here's the deal for not responding at all. Or worse, responding negatively, right? Have you ever did that? It's not a good morning. Oh my gosh, it's not a good morning. Wow. We control our mornings. We do. External circumstances do not. So when someone's responding negatively, they can be perceived as, would you say, rude? Yep. And they make the other person feel unwelcome? Yep. Or taken back? Yep. So whether it's a good morning, a hello, or some variation, okay, taking a moment to acknowledge someone's greeting. And for those of you that want to mark this part, this is important. It's just a small but significant way to show that you value their presence in their life, or in your life for that matter. And I'm going to get into the ego part, because I think ego triggers a lot of responses on why people like, I'm too cool, I'm too good. And I don't want to get too much into that because that's further down the podcast here. But so the question, I'm not saying good morning. Is it disrespectful, you guys? You know, there have been many times I have personally said good morning, and only to get a voice of silence or looking down, or maybe they just didn't hear me. I often say that to myself. I said good morning to a few individuals today at the gym when I was in a hot tub, and nothing. And for some, not saying good morning may be seen as a disrespectful or rude, right? And for me, I just look at it as I'm filling their cups. My purpose on this world is to fill other people's cups. I've learned that at a late age, but I've realized that. And it could come across as ignoring or snobbing the person who's attempting to greet you. But here's the thing. In most cultures, it's customary to greet someone when you see them. It just is. And not doing so can be seen as a breach of social manners. And in many cases, it can be seen as a lack of politeness or even manners for that matter. And it may raise questions that's, what is that person's character like? And those are some interesting questions that I often, it's not a reflection of you. Just remember that. It's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of someone else's character if they don't respond. And at the same time, there are a lot of factors to consider, right, when it comes to social interaction. Some people may be really introverted and don't really feel comfortable engaging in small talk conversations. In fact, I used to date someone that was like, I hate dating or I hate talking small talk. Well, get to know that person. You got to start with small talk to get to know that person. Then open up the conversation with some good, strong questions. Ask them why. What created your highlight today? What's something positive that's going on in your life? Those aren't small conversations. Those are conversations to get to know somebody. Because again, do you see that person as an object? Or do you see that person as a human? There's a term that I use in my programming for my clients called shared identity. It's where you interact with someone that's completely opposite of you, but you find something that you have similarities in. Guess what? You know what there's one common similarity for everybody? 99.9% of all of us have the same DNA. I said it. You heard it on Framing New Heights podcast. That's called shared identity. And for some, it may be difficult to engage in a greeting, especially if they aren't expecting it, right? All of a sudden, they're in a moment, they're in a zone. Maybe something happened prior, and they're in a mood, they're in a motion to get to point A to point B. And all of a sudden, you drop the good morning on them. They're like, oh, wow, where did that come from? So some people may just be preoccupied and lost thought. How many has that happened to you? Where you're just in a thought. Or they're listening to music. Or as I talked about earlier, they're looking at their phone and haven't even noticed that someone is even attempting to greet them. Again, social connectedness, right? I want to interact by talking about the ego. I think the ego too can be a response to a no response in a good morning situation. So let me break it down a little bit for you guys. I talked about that. So someone with what I call an ineffective ego could say to oneself, why are they talking to me, man? Why are you talking to me? Am I too important or smart to hold a conversation with that person? Or I just have better things to do with my life than say good morning to a complete random stranger. But if you see that person over and over, maybe it's a gym, maybe it's a grocery store, they're no longer a stranger. And however, is a stranger you see regularly a stranger? Is it? No, it's not. And here's another way a person does not respond to your good morning gestures is they just live a life of, are you ready for this? I'm going in. Shallow relationships. I wonder how their relationships are if they don't know how to say that. And here's what I mean. They care too much about what other people think instead of building genuine connections with other people. They think about petty things like how their friends will like their partners or if their significant others will elevate their social status. So, and the third reason why ego affects our good morning issues, or take two. And the third reason why ego affects good morning wishes is a term that many struggle with. It's called vicious complacency. Man, I can have a whole podcast on this conversation. But those with big egos often overestimate themselves and underestimate colleagues as competitors. And here's the deal. I'm not competing against anybody. I don't need to. Number one, my creator knows who I am. Number two, my competition is when I wake up in the morning. I'm looking myself in the mirror. That's my competition. So when we see other people as their nemesis, they may be just too damn proud of themselves to say or give you a response back, or even the first one, right? How many of you I'm always the first one saying good morning. Good morning, it's a great day. Let's have an awesome day. It says a lot about you, though. It says a lot about your life. It says a lot about your vitality. It says a lot of that you don't have shallow relationships. And these individuals that have those shallow relationships often think that they are irreplaceable and don't make moves to make themselves better or acknowledge any type of weaknesses that they have. So as I wrap up today's podcast, know that you're the beacon of light. You set the tone for your day. So don't hit the snooze button on saying good morning. Every opportunity that someone's passing you 3 to 5 feet, say good morning. If it's too far, if it's a coworker down, if it's farther than that, just wave. Just wave. I hope you truly liked the podcast today about the importance of saying good morning and setting the tone for your day. So as I conclude, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a review, and share it with 5 friends that need more encouragement, especially in their life, because we all need it today. Remember, the exchange of a good morning gesture, whether it's a smile, whether it's a kind word or a simple nod, holds immense importance in setting the tone for all of our days, because united, you all, we are unstoppable. It's such a small yet powerful act that can do such a ripple of positivity throughout our daily interactions and foster quality relationships. By giving and receiving good morning gestures, we not only uplift our own spirits, but also contribute to creating a more compassionate and connected world that we live in. So let's embrace the beauty of these gestures and make each morning a brighter one. It all starts with you. As always, Michael Hicks signing off, 1% better in mind, body, and soul. Stay flexed!